Apple Pay is about to get a big boost from Starbucks as Apple announces the huge coffee retailer will begin accepting Apple Pay in some U.S. stores this year and in all of them by the end of 2016. With more on this, we're joined by WSJ reporter Douglas MacMillan. Hi, Doug. We know Apple Pay has been struggling to gain traction since it was launched a year ago. So how important is this development to Apple Pay?
This is a pretty big one. As far as retail stores go, Starbucks is everywhere, and Apple is really trying to get Apple Pay to be a part of people's daily routines. And by partnering with Starbucks, going to get coffee in the morning is something that people do on a regular basis. So the thinking is that if they can get people to use Apple Pay when they're getting coffee in the morning, maybe they can get people to use this technology in many other facets of their life.
That's certainly smart thinking. I'm curious, though, because Starbucks and a lot of these other retailers already have their own apps that offer regular customers all kinds of perks. So won't Apple Pay be coming up against that?
Yeah, I at the conference I attended yesterday where the head of Apple Payments, Jennifer Bailey, talked about this. She didn't go into too much detail on this topic. I think to some extent you're right. They are going to compete with Starbucks' own app and own payment system. But I think that Apple is also letting retailers tie in loyalty programs and different versions of their own apps with its Apple Payment. So to some extent, I think that this Apple Pay will work in tandem with your Starbucks loyalty card that you can already use in your iPhone.
Okay, that's good, because I certainly like my little bonus points that I get there. Now, looking back at this past year, why has Apple Pay failed to gain the sort of widespread adoption the company was hoping for?
Well, it's the same reason that many other tech companies have struggled to get a lot of adoption for this technology, and that's because people are used to using cash and credit cards. I mean, these are technologies that have existed for decades, and it's very hard to get a massive shift from that kind of widely used currency and technology to something that people are very unfamiliar with. It's a very simple act. You pull out your phone and you swipe it at a counter register using a little chip inside of your phone. But that's an act that people really aren't used to, and people are still used to pulling out their wallet when they're at the checkout line.
It's going to take some habit changing there. Now, Apple's head of payments, as you mentioned, Jennifer Bailey, made that announcement about Starbucks. What else did she say about Apple Pay's plans for growth?
So she said that they're currently in about 1 million retail locations at the moment. By the end of this year, they expect that number to be 1.5 million. So they're expecting a lot of growth still. And they're also looking for to help retailers integrate this in new ways. Chili's, for example, the restaurant, has announced that it's going to start integrating Apple Pay into its system for basically you can just pay from the table instead of paying a check.
Oh,
she also thinks that this could be Apple Pay could be widely used in travel. When you're on a plane, that whole experience, you typically have your phone in front of you to get information and entertainment. Well, what if you could use your phone to also pay for movies or pay for, order menu items from the cart that comes down the aisle on the plane and pay for it using your Apple Pay? So they're looking for many different ways that this could be used, beyond just the morning coffee at Starbucks.
All right, Douglas, thank you so much for that.
Thanks.